I started working on a new track tonight, like I do most nights, and I realized that this little loop I came up with happens to only use notes from the G major pentatonic scale. So I thought it might be fun to try to make an entire lo-fi beat using only 5 notes. So a little bit of background if you didn't know, the pentatonic scale is a 5-note scale. It's really popular in blues music. And if you want to make a major pentatonic scale, you can just take the major scale, take the root, the second, the third, the fifth, and the 6th note. Those are the 5 notes that make it up. Or in other words, you can go root, whole step, 1.5 steps, whole step, and then you're back at the root 1.5 steps above that 6th note. So in this case, I've got the G major pentatonic scale, which if you start with the G, you go whole note to an A, whole note to a B, 1.5 steps up to the D, then a whole note to an E, 1.5 steps up, you're back at the G. Here we have it, a chord progression that uses only the G major pentatonic scale that I happen to stumble into, and will now be trying to expand into something resembling a full lo-fi beat. It's a little bit late already, so I don't want to be doing this too long, but maybe if I can get like 16 bars or so, I'll be pretty happy. So this was the chord progression I came up with so far. It's got this like somber energy going on. So from there, I laid down some nice, kind of not the sleepiest drums of all time by any means, but good like simple drum progression here. And then because this is the G major pentatonic and we only have 5 notes to choose from, it's pretty natural that our root note happens to be involved in all of the chord voices. So I got to lay this simple drone pad just out over a G, extending the entire time. And then along with that, a really simple bass line. Once again, kind of hanging out for a long time on that G, and then it jumps up when the chord changes to an E root and then the D. Just root notes, no walk downs, no nothing fancy yet anyway. So altogether, this is the loop that I was making and then realized that, hold on a second, this could be a fun video idea. So let me throw some headphones on and we'll see what we can turn this into. So I think right away, if we're gonna be trying to turn this into a full track, let's think about trying to get like more of a leading melody going on. I think the piano is a good candidate to do that with. Pre-drench this thing in a nice big spacious reverb. So there's not a lot of motion going on in what will be the left hand essentially. So I think we can take a little bit of liberty and get some action going with the right hand, but I don't want it to be too busy. I'm not liking this reverb right now. I'm gonna just mute that and find one once I find a melody. This is feeling pretty cheesy. I don't know if I'm liking that. Slightly better. I'm gonna hold on to that for now because I don't want to spend 50 hours trying to get a decent melody going. I don't love it, but let's try to make this a little more like a human playing it. Can't play that note. So this is a pretty typical problem of mine, is I'll overcomplicate a melody layer here. So something I'm going to do right now is just go in and feel where there's a little more motion that is necessary and just get rid of that. So that's what I'm doing right here. I think I can just hang out on this A, for example. So like this note here, for example. This is moving at the same time as the left hand. Not super necessary, we've already got some motion there, so let's see how that sounds now. So I don't like the G here. Let's see what happens when we bring that down to an E. That sounds awful, is what that sounds like. So it's still not completely non-cringy. I think that's might end up being a problem with the whole 5-note only thing, because I was already tempted to go places that I wasn't allowed given the restriction I set. But by simplifying and just letting there be space here, I've definitely like allowed this melody to feel a little bit less like forceful. Definitely taken like some of the cringe away. So I'm decently happy with that layer. We're kind of hiding it in the back, just give it a little bit of that twinkle we're missing. Let's see if we can get a little lazy and throw down a VST guitar. Let's not do that one. Oh, don't crash. Dang it. I hope I saved that. When I just went to switch the audio driver so I could record my guitar, I realized that when FL Studio crashed, it switched it for me. So everything that I did after the crash, you apparently could not hear, which really bums me out because I thought it'd be a nice change of pace to like make the beat on the video instead of just break the beat down. But alas, here we are. Once again, breaking the beat down. I don't even actually remember where I was when FL Studio crashed, so we'll just real quickly go through the layers bit by bit. You already heard the drums for sure. I think we got through the melody. I ended up adding this guitar layer, we called it the bad guitar because it's bad. Don't be lazy and use MIDI guitar when you know how to play guitar. But essentially I just kind of arpeggiated through the chords on a very straight rhythm for the most part. And then I ran that into the same mixer channel as the melodies that I could have the shared reverb. That was really just me trying to conserve CPU. But that by itself sounds like this. So it's really quiet, very buried in the background, but I felt like it just was a little bit of motion to kind of help get things moving along. I'm actually gonna get these going so I can edit this later. And then we got a second bad guitar here, this high bad guitar. Same deal, mix super low, run to that same melody track with that same Valhalla Supermassive. Just some EQ to make sure they're not stepping on each other, and I took care of some harsh frequencies as well, so those two together. So once again, I mean, they're extremely quiet in the mix. I think they're definitely something you feel more than you hear, but I felt like they did a little something to just kind of give it a little bit of extra motion. So that was kind of the loop, and then I broke it out into individual stems, thinking we had enough to kind of start thinking about arranging our little 16-bar track we're making here. So I broke everything out, added a little pickup with the drums. We got the kick and the snare coming in as the shaker kind of builds through the intro. Nice cymbal transition, and it was sounding like this coming out of the intro. So I was feeling like the kind of main motif for the chord progression could have used some bolstering, so I brought in this like very synthy string part, just a little Vital preset I made a while back. It's like a slow string thing. Mixed that also super low and did just a little bit of EQing out some of the lows, a very gentle roll off, kind of all the way up to the mids, just to kind of help give the chord progression a little bit of body and help kind of secure that foundation. So our full loop ended up sounding like this before I took the break to then record the guitar part, which I'll show you in a second. So I felt like those swelling bits of strings sort of helped give it a little bit of motion, a little bit more growth, and obviously a little bit more body. I'm sorry that I didn't get to walk you guys through the actual process of making this lo-fi beat with 5 notes. I'm gonna let this thing play us out with the little bit of guitar that I added. I hope you enjoyed. If you guys have any ideas or any things that you want to see me try next, anything you think might be helpful to break down a little bit more in detail about my thought process as I was making this particular beat or any of my other beats, feel free to shoot me a message on Discord, leave a comment down here, and let me know what you want to see next. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.